कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी ये जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 10, verse number 5 and 6, fifth verse. Shri Deva Uchuhu Kim Nuta Tustyajam Brahman Pumsam Bhutanukampinam Bhavat Vidhanam Mahatam Punyashlokedya Karmanam. Shri Deva Uchuhu Kim Tustyajam Brahman Pumsam Bhutanukampinam भवद्विधानां महतां पुण्यश्लोकेद्य कर्मणाम् श्रीदेवाऊचुः किं नु तत्तुस्त्यजं ब्रह्मन् पुंसां भूतानुकम्पिनां भवद्विधानां महतां पुण्यश्लोकेद्य कर्मणाम् तद्युस्त्यजन् ब्रह्मन् पुंसां भूतानुकम्पिनाम् भवद्विदानां महताम् पुण्यश्लोकात्यकर्मणाम् श्रीदेव ऊचुः किं नु तत् पुंसां भूतानुकम्पिनाम् भवद्विदानां महताम् पुण्यश्लोकेऽद्य कर्मणाम् यज्ञ कर्मणाम् माताजी श्रीदेवावुचुः किं नु तद्दुस्त्यजं ब्रह्मन् पुंसां भूतानुकम्पिनाम् भवद्विदानां महतां पुण्यशोकेऽद्य कर्मणाम् श्रीदेवावुचुः किं नु तद्दुस्त्यजं ब्रह्मन् पुंसा भूतानुकम्पिनाम् भवद्विदानां महतां पुण्यश्लोकेऽद्य कर्मणम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The demigods blight, O exalted Brahmana, pious persons like you, whose activities are praiseworthy, are very kind and affectionate to people in general. What can't such pious souls give for the benefit of others? They can give everything, including their bodies. This verse has no purport. We are reading the next verse 6. Nunam swartha paro loko na veda para sankatam yadi vedana yacheta neti nah yadishvaraha. Translation and purport by Prabhupada. Translation. Those who are too self-interested beg something from others, not knowing of others' pain. But if the beggar knew the difficulty of the giver, he would not ask for anything. Similarly, who is able to give charity does not know the beggar's difficulty, for otherwise he would not refuse to give the beggar anything he might want as charity. Purport. This verse describes two people, one who gives charity and one who begs for it. A beggar should not ask charity from a person who is in difficulty. Similarly, one who is able to give charity should not deny a beggar. These are the moral instructions of the Shastra. Chanakya Pandit says, San nimitte varam tyago vinashe niyate sati. Everything within this material world will be destroyed, and therefore one should use everything for good purpose. If one is advanced in knowledge, he must always be prepared to sacrifice anything for a better cause. At the present moment, the entire world is in a dangerous position under the spell of a godless civilization. The Krishna consciousness movement needs many exalted, learned persons who will sacrifice their lives to revive God consciousness throughout the world. We therefore invite all men and women advanced in knowledge to join the Krishna consciousness movement and sacrifice their lives for the great cause of reviving the God consciousness of human society. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पंगो मम मन्दामतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्बोजो श्रीराधा मदनमोहनौ दिव्याद् वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिसेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान्द्रासरसारम्भे वंशीवटतटस्थित कर्षन्वेणुस्वनेर्गोपी गोपीनाथाय श्रियस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवे देवी दयिताय कृपाब्दये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिद श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे श्रीरूपानुग विरुद्धा अपसिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिः विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टः सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णवः सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषये नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः Hare Krishna. So I welcome all the devotees for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. I seek blessings of all the devotees so that we can discuss something on Sri Bhagavatam, the current episode, demigods offering their prayers, getting benedictions from Lord, and now they are getting ready to fight with Vritrasura. So if you see this, we are in the 10th chapter now. In the previous chapter, demigods had offered wonderful prayers to the Supreme Lord, and Lord reciprocated with their prayers and informed them that you will be victorious. You go to the Dichi Muni, take bones from him, make the thunderbolts out of it, and with the help of that, you can kill Vritrasur. Now, in this chapter, demigods have approached the Dichi Muni uh, to ask for a favor. Now, it was not a small favor. It's not about just asking somebody's wealth or land or something. It is like asking the the soul, the embodied soul, is so much attached to the body. So everything one can give up, but it's very difficult to give up the self, this body, as the soul is attached to it. And that is being asked by demigods to Dadichi Muni. And Dadichi Muni is a great devotee and a realized soul. Through the subsequent verses, we will see that. But interestingly, Dadichi Muni also tests demigods. And he says in the previous verses, "Oh, demigods, you're asking about now to give up my body. But don't you know that it's very difficult to give up one's body? And everybody is too attached to it. So it's very difficult to give up this body." And now these are the verses spoken by the demigods. And this first verse, fifth verse, they say, Kimnu tat tustyajan brahman pumsam bhutanu kampinam. So this very important word is anukampa, mercy. Like Kim dussaham nu sadhuna, in 10th canto also it says, what is difficult for a person who is determined on the path of Krishna consciousness to give up? So Kimnu tat dustejam brahman pumsa bhutanu kampinam. Oh Dadichi Muni, your quality is that you are anukampinam, you are compassionate. Bhavad vidhanam mahatam punya shlokadya karmanam. And so, since you are bhutanu kampinam, what is difficult for you to give up this body? Because you are very kind and affectionate to the other living entities. And in the next verse, they again tell that nunam swartha puro loko na veda parasankata. That for those who are too self-interested, they beg something from others, not knowing of others' pain. If somebody is in sankata, is in trouble, and if somebody can give shelter to that person, then he must give. If it is in their capacity to give the shelter, then it is the duty. Like, for example, somebody is a doctor. And recently there is one very viral clip that somebody was on Delhi airport and there was doctor around. And somehow that lady could save a patient because she could immediately take a reaction and that action, and the patient was saved. And it was very much highlighted, oh, what all things to be done whenever somebody is in emergency or on a heart patient, how to pump or whatever. So yes, one who has an ability, then he should do that. And one should not think about time, place, and circumstances and the other things. So similarly here, demigods are telling you are compassionate and you are the one who can give. So give a nice analogy also. Prabhupada read this analogy in purport and translation. That there are two parties. One is a beggar and another is a donor. So I was just thinking now Janmashtami is coming and we also drive the donation campaign and ask people to donate. And we see it's very difficult that not everybody is charitable, or at least that intention to give is very less. Yes, there are kind people in society, that's how. But I was just thinking it's only the donor who gives to the Lord. So who is the beggar and who is the donor in this particular situation? When we give donation or when we give, actually it's called seva. That's why they say, no, when you donate, so generally the receiver receives like this and the one who gives the donation gives like this, right? But it's not the general way. It is said, one who is giving the donation has to give like this because he is grateful for the opportunity. Oh my Lord, I am grateful that you are accepting my service, because the Lord is being served by millions of Lakshmis. Everything belongs to him in one sense. He has entrusted everything to Jivas because they want to separately enjoy from him. And so when Jiva understands that everything belongs to Lord, then it is like he is giving offering to the Lord. That is the mood. So if we go to the temple, who is the donor and who is the receiver? So a person might feel that, oh, because sometimes, I don't know if it's a myth or something, but generally people go to Tirupati Balaji. And that's the Lord temple, very magnanimous, very charitable. People give crores and crores of rupees. I don't know what's their turnover. But people have faith that if you give something, it becomes 10 times or something like that, or whatever Krishna reciprocates with that. But who is the donor and who is the receiver? So if we go to the Supreme Lord, actually we are the beggars. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj has written a bigger series and the mood of a devotee. Then what we can beg from Lord and what Lord can give us. So one of my favorite thing which I heard in childhood, they pray Hechi Dana Dega Deva Tuja Visarana Bhava. So the meaning is that you go to the Lord and in spite of giving, actually we go with the vessel to beg that, oh my Lord, you are the one who can give your remembrance. And so the devotee has that feeling to the Lord. I am the beggar and you are the supreme most donor and you can give your love. So that is the heart of a devotee that he go in front. That, oh my Lord, never ever me forget you. There's also a wonderful bhajan they sing in Radha Govind Dev temple in Jaipur that I heard a devotee singing that do nayana katore laya. They say that, oh my Lord, I came with the two begging bowls of my eyes and I want to receive your grace. I want to see your beautiful form. So that is devotee's mood that there is a party who needs, who is begging, and another one who is giving the mercy. Coming to this pastime, here demigods are also praying to the Dichi Muni that for good of all of us. Now demigods are not the ordinary personalities in this universe. Like in any system, administrators plays important role because they govern the system. So we also see in our neighboring countries, there's a calamity and the person heading the countries like taking shelter. So the administrators has to be protected because they keep law and order and things in system. So demigods represents the universal administration and they are in difficulty. They're approaching the Supreme Lord and Supreme Lord has told that you go and beg from the Dichi Muni, understanding that Lord's instructions will never fail. So they are convincing the Dichi Muni here to give his bones. So they are just requesting the Dichi Muni that it is not difficult for you to do this. So because where is more pleasure? Is there pleasure in taking service or in giving service? So generally I ask these questions whenever I talk to students or school children, but you are elevated devotees. We all know that definitely there is more pleasure in giving service than taking service. What is the example? The biggest example, the supreme-most example is standing in front of us in the form of Lord Chaitanya. Because Lord himself felt that so many people want to serve me, and especially the topmost devotee or his internal potency, Srimati Radharani serving him, and he want to experience the bliss of not getting service, doing service. So he himself want to detest the sweetness uh, of what it means to be a service. And that's why it's the nature of a great soul that they always do the selfless service. And knowing this heart of the Dichi Muni, that he is a great personality and he is a selfless person and he would definitely fulfill that desire of getting the thunderbolt from him. Actually, this quality of selfless service is very dear to Lord. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, when there was Samudra Manthan happening, and suddenly the poison comes out of Samudra Manthan, and it is Lord Shiva who accepts that poison. The same situation again. To protect the universe, to protect the people in general, now who will accept the poison? And Lord Shiva accepted the poison, and Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies Tapyante lokatapena prayasho manayojana param aradhanam tadhi purushasya akhilatmani. So these words explains that how the Supreme Lord is most pleased when param aradhanam tadhi. It's param aradhana. That's why even when we see the devotees, like in the practicing devotees from Kanishta, Madhyam to Uttam Adhikari, it's like the one way of seeing is they're more compassionate and they want to give others because Kanishta Adhikari is not fixed up only worshipping deities, but Uttam and Madhyam Adhikari specifically wants to preach the name of the Lord, glories of the Lord. So Param Aradhanam Tadhi, the best worship of the Supreme Lord is to act in favor or good for others. And then the Lord is pleased. And in this verse, purport, Prabhupada writes that definitely whatever when a person does good for others, it definitely attracts the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the greatest favor one can do to the conditioned soul is to spread Krishna consciousness, he said. And that's why, even in this purport, Prabhupada says, the Krishna consciousness movement needs many exalted, learned persons who will sacrifice their lives to revive God consciousness throughout the world. So who will sacrifice their lives. So I was just thinking, how, why could Dadiji Muni could easily give the bones for making thunderbolt? Because he has the will in heart or the consciousness that if I give, the Lord will be pleased. Because Lord's instruction. And similarly, Lord also gave instruction to all specifically practicing devotees who read Gita. That one who, in 18th chapter, he says, one who spreads the message of Bhagavad Gita is very dear to me. And here Prabhupada is telling that sacrificing their life to revive God consciousness. So, in order to preach or in order to give Krishna consciousness to others, the most important quality or contemplation or the heart of a devotee is needed is compassion. That if somebody is compassionate, because it is said, preaching is the outpour of a compassion in the devotee's heart. So one who has received this gift of Krishna consciousness and has realized this precious gift in his life, definitely he's more excited, more enthusiastic to preach the message. And definitely preaching is not easy, as one of the quality of a devotee's forbearance or tolerance. And in that, Prabhupada mentions this is exhibited by devotees because, like for here example, the Muni has to give up his body. The devotees has to undergo so many trials and tribulations just in order to give Krishna consciousness to others. In ashram, every day during Prasadam, we are reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, and we were in the chapter 6, that is of Srila Prabhupada in Delhi, crying alone in wilderness. That how Prabhupada was so much struggling to give Krishna consciousness to others. As Prabhupada is mentioning, who will sacrifice their life to revive God consciousness? This line very much exemplified Srila Prabhupada himself. When we saw that Prabhupada himself struggled to get the papers, writing the articles, making them print, and it is also mentioned just to save some paisa, he would walk certain distance and get them printed, take some loans to print his books, and alone he would go and distribute the magazine and what the articles he was writing. He would go to the tea shops, people were sitting there, and he would just go and try to explain them the Krishna consciousness. He met many great people. No one was like assisting Srila Prabhupada to propagate this mission or God consciousness. He tried his level best to approach the rich persons, the politically influenced persons, and there was not very much encouragement from anywhere. But still, Srila Prabhupada has the spirit that I want to give this Krishna consciousness to everyone. And we see when this seed or these efforts of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada could spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. And it is said that once there is a tree and it grows a fully blossomed tree, it gets very sweet fruits. It was not only Srila Prabhupada, but this Srila Prabhupada's sacrifice spirit continued by his disciples, his legacy. And yesterday I was just remembering with devotees the example of Her Grace Ladini Mataji. Now it is not just Bhagavatam speaking, Dadichi Muni giving his life for the demigods, but her example is a very vivid example that how devotees are so selfless and how the real selflessness can come out or the real compassion can come out when one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is said that Her Grace Ladini Mataji, her husband first came to Krishna consciousness, then she followed her husband. And they went to Detroit. They assisted in preaching. And later she was serving in New Vrindavan. And it is around 1989 that she decided to go to West Africa for preaching. It is said that she was such a wonderful preacher, very kind, especially to children's. So, as we can see here, that compassion, that kindness makes devotee rich Krishna consciousness, and that attracts the hearts of people. So she thought of going to West Africa, assist His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj in preaching. No, I don't remember the name of countries and the place, but Lib something West Africa they say, and Manor or something is the place, the capital where she was serving. And that time it happened, it's 1990 October, that there was inner war going on in that region. There were 7 different parties or gangsters, they were fighting amongst them. And this place where Mataji was preaching was one Prince Johnson, and he visited the temple and he had prasadam. He had also taken the Bhagavad Gita. But there were continuous riots happening in that area. And even the American government has announced that all the citizens, they should evacuate the place immediately. And it was arranged for them to come back to their country. But Mataji thought there was almost 1.5 lakh people affected in that area. And they decided to do food distribution because people were really starving. And it is said among the devotees, the native African devotees, somebody wrote to that prince or that gangster that from Bhagavatam that how he should not involve in the war and how the fatality is not good. And that person got more provoked and he thought of harming the devotees. So when these people, these gangsters, they came to attack the temple, they already informed that we will not kill the ladies. So the ladies or the women's, they can leave. They have spared left all the males or prabhus there will be couldn't accept that. And she said that I cannot see devotees getting killed in front of me. If you want to kill these devotees, you have to first kill me. And it is there are 2 devotees, there are 7 devotees mentioned. So 2 devotees, because these devotees from temple, they were dragged to the seashore, it is mentioned. And 2 devotees, somehow they escaped and they hided themselves on a tree, and they could see that they could hear the sound of shooting of gun. And it was Mother Ladini who took first the bullets on her, and she left her body because she said she couldn't tolerate the pain of devotees, uh, the that the devotees getting harmed in front of her. I was also remembering that how devotees for the betterment of others and to practice Krishna consciousness by heart, who has that compassion, that thirst for Krishna consciousness, can surpass any difficulty. The another example is Ananta Shan Prabhu, that how they were struggling in Russia for preaching, and in spite of all odd situations, the communist government, the KGPs, and everything was unfavorable for them. And still in that situation, they never give up their Krishna consciousness. And their sacrifice spirit, their strong faith and connection to Guru and Krishna, and their practice, their example, that so much of preaching could flourish in Russia. Once Adana Swami Maharaj was telling that um, that if we could say in this material world there are so much of difficult situations and we couldn't practice Krishna consciousness by heart because there are so many distractions, so much of Maya pulling, Adidevik, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik, and unlimited kleshas. He said, but just to set an example, he said that Prahlad Maharaj, he was in a surrounding where everybody was practically demon, and his parents himself, his father himself was a demon. So if he said, if for Prahlad Maharaj, the atmosphere like Mumbai can be Vrindavan, he said. Because if that is the distraction, then at least such kind of atmosphere will be very favorable. So by Krishna's grace, by Lord's grace, still that facilities there to practice and take to God consciousness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says, Pran ache tar se hetu prachar, that devotee has life and therefore he preaches. So it's a devotee is sadhaka, is to practice his sadhana, but to preach and to give Krishna consciousness as per our realization is also in service. Like one of the way to get test for holy name is chanting, praying to holy name. The other thing is to preach the holy name. I was hearing to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says that if we help others to grow in Krishna consciousness, and then definitely Krishna will give us mercy so that we can also grow in our Krishna consciousness. Like Srimad Bhagavatam says, Janasya Krishna Dvimukhasya Devat Adharmashilasya Sudukhitasya Anugrahayeha Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. Because one who has received this gift of Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, spiritual realization, then that person, Janasya Krishna Vimukhasya Daivat, when he sees that the people in general are struggling, not been our Vaishnav calendar, but in our Vedic tradition, today is supposed to be Naga Panchami and also Garuda Panchami. So we all know that the son of Brahma, Kashyapa Muni, had two wives, Kadru and Vanita, and Kadru gave to the progeny of snakes and Vanita to Garudji. So I was just searching what is the significance of today's celebration. So in childhood, because at least in our home, I have seen from the childhood that in Nag Panchami, my father would draw a snake on a slate and offer some puja. And I asked him, why do we perform that? And he said, because we are farmers and snakes are the farmer's friend, because there are so much rodents in the farm. And like we worship, they say pola or poda, bail poda we say, because they are also farmer's friend, because they help them in farming. So we celebrate that, and also to show our gratitude, respect, and no greetings. So but when I was just finding, so it mentions that some says that this is the day when Lord Krishna chastised Kaliya. But when we refer Krishna book and Bhagavatam, we see that generally it was day of Balram Purnima, because that day Balramji was not with Krishna, because two times it happened when Balramji was not there with Krishna, and both the times Krishna killed were the demons in the serpent form. One of them was Aghasur, and the another was Kaliya. But it can be reconciled because today is Shukla Panchami of Shravan, and on the day of Purnima, Balramji appeared. So maybe because this is the month, or this is the time when Kaliya was uh, chastised. So maybe in that also we can remember. Interestingly, the Garuji is the Vahana, the carrier of Lord Vishnu. And in the spiritual form, Lord Anantashesh is the bed of Lord Vishnu. So both of them serving the Lord. So I thought, because today is Nag Panchami and also the Garuda Panchami, we can just recall the pastime of Krishna chastising Kaliya. Uh, we all know that Kaliya, now there is also this story also has a link with Garuji and Kaliya, because we know that Shukdev Goswami mentioned that how Garuda was behind Kaliya because he denied the order of Guruji to offer snakes, and he took shelter in the lake of Yamuna where Sobharya Muni was residing, because that's the place where Guruji cannot come, because Sobharya Muni has cursed Guruji, or has that because of Sobharya Muni's curse, Guruji couldn't come there. So Kaliya resided in the lake of Yamuna, and Lord when with his devotees went on the banks of Yamuna, he saw that all his devotees, the coward boys, they got affected by the polluted waters of Yamuna. And this poisonous venomous snake residing in the Yamuna. So Shukdev Goswami very nicely described that how the Lord climbed the Kadamba tree. It was the only tree existing on that bank of the Yamuna. Because of the venom of Kalia, all the birds, the insects, the trees around, the shrubs around were destroyed because his venom was so poisonous. But one tree was there for Lord's service. It's also mentioned that when Karuji was carrying the Amrit, some drops fell on that. And so that Kadam tree was there. And also it is touched by the lotus feet of the Lord. So Lord climbed the Kadamba tree and he jumped into waters of Yamuna. So very nicely it explained that how the Lord in a very, no, in a very heroic way, that uh, making all arrangements and they giving all signs of a hero, patting his whatever thighs and jumping into the lakes of Yamuna like an elephant jumped the water. And so much of Yamuna water splashed out. And it is mentioned that even Kalia was attracted by seeing the beauty of Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful. And then, long story short, that Kalia tried to bind Krishna under his coil. It is mentioned that when Krishna was getting coiled by Kalia, there was inauspicious signs in Braja, Vrindavan, and the coward boys, the coward persons, the coward devotees, they all came onto the bank of Yamuna by seeing the lotus feet of Krishna, because wherever Krishna walks, nobody puts their footprints. So following Krishna's footprints, all the devotees, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, all the Brajavasis, they came on the bank of Yamuna and they saw that Krishna was coiled, Krishna was caught in the coil of Kalia. And they felt like they would now give up their life. They said Balram also then came and he could see that. And he knows that Krishna is supreme and he can save himself. And so in order to give pleasure to his devotees, that how even such a difficult circumstance was converted into a joyful celebration. It is mentioned that devotees were in pain, that Krishna being caught into the coil of Kalia, Krishna came onto the hoods of Kalia and started dancing. And so that gave so much joy to devotees that initially they feel pain that how the Kalia was there has coiled Krishna, but Krishna started dancing on the hoods of Kalia. And today is the day, or the day that when Nagapatni offer their wonderful prayers to Krishna. And here you could see the demigods, they're begging Lord for their protection. But the Nagapatni they prayed, na Nagaprushtham, na Chaparameshtham, na Sarvabhaumam, na Rasadipatyam, na Yoga Siddhira Punarbhavam va. The prayer of Vritrasur, which also is connected to this chapter, because the same prayer Vritrasur also, it came just spontaneously in my mind, but its connection is there, that even this is the mode of Vritrasur. So we could see that demigods, they are praying for their protection, but the transformed devotees, the advanced devotees, they pray the remembrance of the Lord and service at Lord's lotus feet. So we can offer our prayers to Shri Ananta Shesh and also to Garuji, the great Vaishnav, can bestow devotional service onto us, onto this Panchami day. And also pray to the Lord that let that tendency like Kalia, which is in the form of the poison inside the heart to criticize, to envy, or the anarthas can be purified. I would like to just end with two verses from Jaidev Goswami, because yesterday I just went through these prayers, and somehow there are two prayers which glorifies today's day indirectly, because in one prayer he says, so I don't know whether I can able to sing, but I'll just try. कालियाविषधर गञ्जन जनरञ्जनये यदुकुलनलिनदिनेश जय जय देव हरे. So he says, Kaliya Vishadhara Ganjana. Oh my Lord, you have subdued the Kaliya and Jana Ranjana. And You are the one who gives pleasure to his devotees. Yadukola Nalina Dinesha. And you are like the sun is the star in the constellation, the biggest star. You are the star or the biggest personality in Yadukula. And then he says about Garuda. Madhumura naraka vinashana Garudasanaye Surakula Keli Nidana Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. He says Madhumura Naraka Vinashana. So you have killed Madhu demon, you have killed Mura demon, we have killed Naraka demon. And he says Garudasanaye, oh my Lord, who has his Garuda has his carrier. Sura Keli, Sura Kula Keli Nidana, and you always protect your devotees. That's why Bhagavatam also says, Itesham Shakalaha Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Loke Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. That how Lord always protect his devotees. And so this is the last time where demigods has prayed to Supreme Lord for their protection. Lord has told them to take the bones from Chimuni. And now, after accepting the desire of demigods, the Dijimuni would give his body, his self, so that demigods can win over Vritrasur. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.